What are my views on Trump's recent tweet on Bangladeshi Hindus? Let's find that tweet, shall we? Yeah, that's a great question you ask here. So let me find that tweet. Give me a second or two. I think I retweeted that at some point in time. Donald Trump. Where is it? Where is it? Give me a second. Oh, here we are. Let me put that on the screen. So here is the tweet by candidate Trump, former President Trump. Let's read it out, okay? Mr. Trump says, I strongly condemn the barbaric violence against Hindus, Christians, and other minorities who are getting attacked and looted by mobs in Bangladesh, which remains in a total state of chaos. Barbaric violence. It would never have happened under my watch. Joe and Kamala have ignored Hindus across the world and in America. They've been a disaster from Ukraine to Israel, blah, 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 blah. We will also protect Hindu Americans and against the anti-religion agenda of the radical left. We will fight for you. We'll fight for your freedom. Under my administration, we will also strengthen our great partnership with India and my good friend, Prime Minister Modi. And then he goes after Kamala Harris. And at the end, he says, Happy Diwali to all. I hope the Festival of Lights leads to the victory of good over evil. So this is the tweet by President Trump. Now let's break it down. First of all, he says, I strongly condemn the barbaric violence. Okay, he's calling it barbaric violence, but it's not only against Hindus, he's saying, it's against Hindus, Christians, and other minorities who are getting attacked and looted by mobs in Bangladesh, which remains in a total state of chaos. So he's blaming the situation essentially on Kamala and Joe. And obviously, we know that it's a US induced regime change. The US has been behind this. It's a completely undemocratic, unconstitutional government the Bangladeshis have right now. Sheikh Hasina has never resigned. She was forced to leave by the army at the behest of the US, and the US has done the regime change. So, and after the regime change happened, they have the people of Bangladesh and political parties have been going after Hindus. They've been targeting Hindus. It's a reign of terror against Hindus that the Hindus of Bangladesh are currently experiencing. It's horrible, and no media is covering this in India. Your media, your Indian media is sold out, except for a few media outlets. Most are sold out. That's shameful. So Trump condemns this barbaric violence. He says it would have never happened under his watch. He says that Kamala and Joe, essentially the Democrats, are ignoring Hindus in the world and in America. He's saying that there have been a disaster everywhere. He says the Republicans will protect Hindu Americans against the left, radical left. Will fight for your freedom. He says that under his administration, India and the US, the relationship will get better. Right, the great partnership with India and my good friend Mr. Modi, and he wishes Happy Diwali. Okay, so the statement that Trump has made, it is a far stronger statement than Vivek Ramaswamy made I think in August. I'll not dig up his tweet now because it will take time to search for it. But Vivek Ramaswamy merely said that it's cause for concern, and then he gave a long explainer as to what the history and what's happening. But he did not strongly condemn it the way Trump has condemned it, and he did not call it barbaric violence. So Vivek Ramaswamy is kind of apologetic about being a brown guy and about being a Hindu. Trump is openly pro-Hindu, but he's also said that it's not just against Hindus, it's also against Christians and other minorities. So my view is that I welcome this tweet. Okay, even Indian politicians haven't made a statement this strong. Prime Minister Modi has expressed concern about what's happening to Hindus in Bangladesh and all, but even he has not said that this is barbaric violence. Even Mr. Modi hasn't said that, but Trump has said it. Obviously, Trump is fighting an election campaign right now. He wants Hindu votes. He wants the votes of Indian origin Americans and all. So obviously, we have to look at it from that perspective. Let us not fool ourselves and think that he loves Hindus and he loves India. Okay, but you will not see Kamala making a tweet like this. Kamala has no love for India or the Hindus, despite being half Indian and half Hindu herself. And at least her mom was born a Hindu, I suppose. I don't know what Kamala was born as. So I would say that, look, if Trump comes to power, India will have about 4 years of respite, to some extent at least. Right now, like I said, we are facing the brunt of the US ire against India. They are trying to create a new nation out of Indian territory in the Far East, Cookie Land for Christ, Project K. They are imposing sanctions on India now. Short of declaring war, they're essentially doing everything while claiming that they are the biggest democracy and they are India's friend. What democracy? India, the US is a joke. I mean, see the kind of electoral BS that's happening in the US right now. Foreigners are able to vote because no ID is required. You call that a democracy? I call it a joke. Um, and despite Trump being the way far more popular candidate, I believe it's highly likely that Kamala will win. Okay, and if Kamala wins, it's going to be a bad time next 4 years. Bad time for India and China. Russia is going to be okay. Russia is way too powerful. Russia is like 4 times, 5 times more powerful than China. Okay, no disrespect intended to China or anybody else, but Russia is way more powerful. The only nation that the Americans are really scared of is Russia. But for India and China, it's going to be a bad time if Kamala comes to power. If Trump comes to power, it's still going to be a bad time for China. And he may slightly ease off against India to some extent compared to Kamala. But yeah, so that's how I see Trump's tweet. When it comes to China, India, I think India and China need to revisit their relationship. Enough of this nonsense,